So I've realized that a lot of people struggle with the events. So this is just the way I do it, and it's easier. So yeah, first of all, I use an auto clicker for all the life flower harvesting, and if I need extra event points, I use that same auto clicker for the event items. I use Android, so I don't know if this will work for iPhones. You can leave a comment if you find that same app so other iPhone users can also see the comment and you can help them out. I will do a quick app introduction just to show the basics of how this app works. This is the layout of the app when you launch it, and over here in the common settings, you can edit the pop-up buttons. The size is self-explanatory, and the transparency is the ability to see through these buttons. For this technique, you will use the multi-target mode. The large pop-up button is your controls or menu bar. The X is self-explanatory. It closes the program. The settings button opens this. Here you can save any existing button setup and name it. Unfortunately, you can only save one file at a time. At the bottom, there are more settings. Please ensure that the bottom bullet is selected, so it will continue any action until you stop it. The yellow button is for any swipe actions, which we won't be using. The blue plus button adds a target icon. The red subtract button removes a target icon. The green play button starts the action, which will then change it to a square. Tap the square again to end the action. And then, by tapping the bottom, the button will shrink to a more manageable size. In editing a target icon, you will only be changing the top setting. I have yet to figure out a better way to do this, but I will make a follow-up post if I do. This is a table I made as a guide. You will see the flower as well as its settings. Take a screenshot so you can save it to your storage. I will also provide a picture of it in the comments. In the top row is the target buttons, and their settings according to the flower you are using. The gray parts are not needed. So, if there is info for button 1 and 2 and the others are all gray, then you only need the first two buttons. I color-coded the table so it would be easier to understand. You can read it on your own time. When playing, I do the beginning by actively playing. This merge technique is something that I learned from a YouTuber, which also creates combo bubbles. Save these for later. Quick cleanups has to be done manually. Always merge 5 as far as possible. You will need 2 of the same live flowers for this technique. Once you have your first appropriate flower, go grab your auto clicker. For this flower you will need 2 buttons, with one being 2 clicks and the other being 14. Button 1 has to be on the flower, and the second one in the void. In this case you can see that there is a pause between each harvest, so I subtract 1. Making the 14 a 13. Now, there is no pause between harvests. If the dragon did not finish his harvest, I would have changed it back to a 14. In short, if there is a pause, subtract. If they don't finish, add. For this specific demonstration, I let the action run for a lot longer. It's important not to create too much of these bubbles, as too many on one spot will create lag. When you have a lot of these buttons, put all your buttons in one spot. Carefully place it on the edge of the bubbles, and then start. For some reason, they pop a lot faster than if it were in the center of the bubble. Also, watch that the dragons don't fly into the buttons. This will end the action by constantly tapping the dragon instead of the bubbles. Or flowers. So, it's important to keep the flower quite low so the dragons don't fly over like before. Any buttons that shouldn't be on flowers has to be in the void, so it doesn't tap on anything important. When you end the action and something like this happens when no taps are being registered, and when swiping causes zooming, don't panic. Just start the action again, tap anywhere you want, and stop it again. It should be fixed. If not, close the program and open it again. Whenever you struggle to get the lost egg of the second dragon, then gather all your saved up combo bubbles and take it to the Deadland. Let them go in that area, and then soon enough you will have that lost dragon egg. In this case, it really wasn't needed, as it was just a few easy merges to get to that lost egg. Once you have your second foster dragon, then you can start to get ready to have those two dragons harvest those two flowers that you have. I do not have the twin flowers yet, so I am stuck with these two flowers for now. The method is very simple. Just use the table I provided earlier and input those settings that is in the table, according to the flower that you are using. As soon as you have two dragons, number 1 will always be placed on one flower, which is for the slower dragon. All even numbers will be placed on the second flower, which is for the foster dragon. All the other uneven numbers will be placed in the void. Here you can see something that I did earlier. I saw that there was a pause between each harvest, so I subtracted a point. That led to the dragon not being able to finish the harvest. So I added that point back again, and it was perfect. The table is mainly just a guide. You can mess around with it as much as you like. Before you go on and do your own thing, it is important to know the risks of this method. Most of the risk lies in creating bubbles, so it is incredibly important not to create too many bubbles. A few is okay. Someone brought a Reddit post to my attention where someone lost all their progress due to using an autoclicker. But the problem was the mass amount of bubbles, not the use of the autoclicker. Fortunately, this has never happened to me before. I've used this method for well over a year. I have never had any problems such as losing data or anything. I don't like creating too many bubbles because I see that it creates lag, and lag can cause glitches and crashes. And I am too paranoid to lose all my game data. Another thing is I only use this method for events. I have never used this in my camp or in levels. Do not blame me if you lose your data. Please use this at your own risk. Enjoy this method, and good luck.